Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for Monday morning, December 14th, 2020. I'm the man they call Meathead, and, it's a beautiful Monday morning. We are bright. We are, less than 2 weeks away from Christmas, and to bring us some holiday cheer, it's the lovely Linda K. Boy, I stammered over your name there. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Meathead. So you're telling me, right? We're less than 2 weeks away from Christmas, less than a week from TLC.
Yeah.
And fresh off the heels of our Green Bay Packers getting in first place of the NFC North and seeded number one in the NFC.
Wait, what else did they do? Not only did they win the North, they're now qualified for the what?
They're
the playoffs.
Oh, yes, duh. Playoffs.
You want to talk about playoffs? Yeah, of course we want to talk about playoffs. The regular season is just in our way when we get to the playoffs. That's what we do.
So I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, it's a great week. I mean, it's a great time of year. Sadly they announced, and obviously you didn't tune in to listen to this, but sadly they announced Lambeau Field for the rest of the regular season will not be having fans. They tested it. Brown County, which Green Bay is in, still has a lot of high cases, and they said, you know what, we're going to do the responsible thing and just not have people there, which takes away technically the home field advantage of Lambeau Field. But I think it psychs out the visitors more than anything else because the Packers seem to be locked and loaded,
especially in the cold weather and the snow conditions. So I think we still got it good going into the playoffs, baby.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So let's talk about something that else has got it good and get this done real quick before Christmas. Let's get on over to manscaped.com and get yourself the lawnmower 3.0 and the care package. Get that ball powder. Get those, boxers from manscaped.com and make sure that you're feeling silky smooth, like our man Dave Hero always says. PWR is the promo code. It saves you 20% off of your package and clean your package with manscaped.com. Plus, our friends over at collarandelbowbrand.com, 10% off with PWR 360. Hey, our man Cal Hero keeps coming to more and more gimmicks all the time. You got the fanny pack kid stuff selling over there. Did you see the other stuff that he's got going now? He's working with some merchandise company where he's selling like fanny packs and glasses and bandanas. And oh my God, this kid's, blown up here.
Yes, you can get the whole Cal Hero fanny pack kid package now with, like you said, the accessories, the gimmicks, the fanny pack, the shirts, and it's got some great photography to promote his products as well. We've got our rising star on our hands here within the PWR
I wonder
family.
If he's going to remember my name in a couple weeks. I mean, I hope the kid knows who I am. This dude's blowing up. I mean, everybody's trying to be like Cal Hero. So Cal killing it down at OVW and working his way. So, hey, speaking of working their way, they worked their way up to the WWE main shows, the Raws and the Smackdowns. However, 5 talents have been recently sent back down to I almost said the PFC, the PC, the Performance Center, to kind of work on their stuff. We are going to talk about this for a little bit. I want to talk about Dabokata. I want to talk about Omos, who is AJ Styles' guy that follows him around. I also want to talk about a couple of other guys as well. Let's talk about Keith Lee. Yeah, Keith Lee. Let's talk about Otis. There is a list of guys that will be actually heading down to the PC to work on their stuff. Now, I know most will take this as a negative. I don't think you should, because Mace is going down there as well. Dio Madden, who is in Retribution. I don't think this is a negative. I'm going to echo Shane Helm's tweet in a little bit here, but honestly, so what? I mean, it's not like they're being sent away from the traveling roadshow. Raw and SmackDown are living in Tampa. The Performance Center's in Orlando. Those guys aren't traveling the road. So what if they're spending 2 days a week at the PC working with Adam Pearce and Drew Gulak? So what? Those guys are getting in work. They're going to be better. I remember a time back when, and this wasn't the same deal. I mean, when OVW was the farm club, the territory, that you worked at before you got called up to WWE. I remember when there was guys like Big Show and Mark Henry had to go down there and work a little bit. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be, better for it, plus a future Hall of Famer. I mean, those guys are Hall of Famers right now. Me personally, on the stuff that I do, I've, on my personal thing, I've been let go twice. I've been picked up 3 times, and I've been killing it every time. Sometimes things happen, sometimes there's numbers. Sometimes there's things that you could work on. They trust and love you so much and respect you so much that They want you to be better, and that's exactly what's happening here. Let's talk about Shane Helms for a second here. Shane, our friend who was doing primetime, now a WWE producer again, says that players make it to the NBA, NFL, NHL, etc. Don't stop practicing and drilling just because they made it to the top. Being signed to a major promotion does not mean stopping trying to perfect your craft. That's why you work even harder to perfect your craft. I mean, that makes sense, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the saying goes, there's always room for improvement.
You think Jordan stopped practicing? Pfft, Jordan was on it every day.
Yes. Shows in the work ethic, shows in their performance overall. And, echoing what Shane Helms said, I mean, this isn't a bad thing. This is like what you said as well. This is just a way to highlight and showcase talents that WWE obviously know, trust, and love, and want to see get better.
Right.
Talents that they see with just a couple tweaks, but in a positive way, can really do good for the company, for themselves, just for everybody as a whole. So the talents that were sent to the performance center, I mean, my goodness, one thing in common is their size. That's
all big men.
Interesting as well. Yes. So I'm curious to see what exactly, if we will find out what exactly they'll be working on to improve on in the weeks to come. But like you said, this is not a bad thing. They're all living in Orlando or near Orlando. It's like you said, it's not like they're being pulled away from the touring schedule. It's not like they're still not going to be on the big show. No pun intended.
We'll never notice a difference.
Yes, or maybe we will, but in a good way.
Right.
Like with Otis, for example. I mean, he hasn't really said anything. I mean, he was one of the ninjas, right? Remember earlier in the year?
He was,
he was a
ninja.
big man. Okay, and now he's the man behind AJ Styles. But so I'm just curious to know what else he'll be working on, or why he's going on as well. But obviously, this is a good thing. I hope more people see that it's a good thing and that the company does care about these specific individuals.
You know who they should send down there too, hopefully just to stop by? Send Mark Henry. Send Big Show. I mean, I know I just brought them up before, but guys that can work a big man style. Send Kane down there if Kane's not busy. Send somebody that can work that bigger style. Taker,
Yep.
Yeah. Taker's been in a ring with these guys, just kind of running ropes with them and so forth. One more tweet from Shane too. And he says, don't take his last tweet as a knock on anyone. It's not. Take it as an encouragement. Put it in the work. You will be glad you did. I promise. Again, like I said with Jordan, I believe the greatest basketball player of all time. Jordan didn't sleep. Jordan didn't stop. You want to be the best, you got to work to be the best. Just because you made it, just because you're on the show, just because you're working top programs, doesn't mean you don't have room to improve. Everybody does. So glad to see Shane jumping out on that, and glad to see that these guys are taking it. I really don't think we're going to see a change in day-to-day operations on Monday and Friday nights.
Agreed.
Speaking of Friday nights, let's talk about Smackdown from last week. And Linda, I know you saw it. I saw it. Something that, I saw it the week before, but it didn't really sink into me. The Forgotten Sons forgot to tell us that they were getting haircuts and shaving.
They're cue to Manscaped, maybe?
Maybe they're tuned up to Manscaped. Maybe they've been listening to the program. So they're hanging out with King Corbin now. They're part of the court, the King's court. There is, part of his royal party, whatever they're calling it. But glad to see the Forgotten Sons haven't been forgotten. Obviously there's so many puns here that I could just keep going. Matthew and I talked about it last week, but I'm always happy to see people working. I never, kind of hate on anybody that's got a job. It's a different character than what they have. If not for what happened early in March, April, I think is when it happened. Those guys were lined up to be the tag team champions. Then they slid Shinsuke and Cesaro in their place, and that's when they beat the New Day for those tag team belts. So that should have been the Forgotten Sons.
Right. Anyway, like you said, getting the guys, they're getting them work again and getting a way to get them closer to their next goal, whether that be the tag team titles, whether it be singles titles. Working with King Corbin will be very, very beneficial for them. And with their heads shaved, they even have a similar look. So I already like that spin on everything with the Forgotten Sons. Or what are their names now? Are they still going by Cutler and you know what I mean?
So I mean, again, I'm failing both of us. I don't have them at the tip of my toe or tip of my tongue right now. But yes, they excuse me, I've forgotten their names because they're the Forgotten Sons.
There you go.
They are Knights of the Lone Wolf is what they're going by. Knights of the Lone Wolf.
See, I know it wasn't by their names again. Okay. All right. But that, that goes well with Corbin, and I do like King Corbin, but there's just something kind of like when you were talking last week about Elias, how there's potential, a lot of potential there, a lot of talent in ring, the look, the talk, the mouthpiece, but something needs to be just a little more pushed. And perhaps it'll be the two of them to really push their faction. So,
and again, you heard that, and it's funny you said Elias because the third Forgotten Son is with Elias now, and they're testing that out.
Yeah, exactly. I think the look of those two guys together works well too. So, it'll be interesting to see once that does get introduced onto Raw, how they'll get taken. But good to see again, guys and girls getting work. It's great.
Yeah, let's talk about the opening of SmackDown. Somebody that's back in a prominent role is Carmella, and she's going for the SmackDown Women's Championship. She's also got a sommelier. Yes. Is that her sommelier that she has? Isn't a sommelier the person who's the wine tester and taster and the person who knows the vintage and how it was made and what kind of herbs and spices were made in the 11? Isn't that what a sommelier is?
Yeah, I somebody may know I have my background in the liquor industry and know a tad or two about wine. I'm not a certified, sommelier.
I was going to say, you can't go around telling me about vintners and, that they, yeah.
But he didn't exactly speak too much about that champagne bubbly, sorry, wrong show. But that is interesting. And he did play a big piece building up to the match later on SmackDown.
Yeah. So they have a match coming for TLC. That was supposed to be the contract signing, but Carmella seems to have manipulated Sasha into giving her a match. And, the heel getting what she wanted. Obviously, it didn't go her way, but, you'll find out at the end of the show what happens with Sasha and Carmella. There was a one-on-one match with Montez Ford and Dolph Ziggler. And while I love, again, the pairing of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, the fact that he's not wearing his glorious robe and he's wearing that leather jacket still, just bothers me.
Same thing. I brought it up last time, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. That's crazy. He just glows in a glorious robe, and I don't know. I mean, I know you guys talked about this last week too, but we can see what's going to happen as far as getting the full setup to their match at TLC. But
sure.
I mean, at least it's some type of build up. But one thing that did happen, it was something that we did discuss and predict, is the blue Dixie cups.
Yes, I guarantee you they bought, a pallet of red Dixie cups. They probably had to run through them, and they had the blue ones ready to go until they used up the red. They weren't getting to the blue.
And at the debut of the new Thunderdome, which you couldn't really tell, but
no,
you knew.
They have some, and I'm glad you brought that up too. They have some things they have to work on. Did you hear the echo in some of the segments?
Not too much, but I'll look for that.
Specifically in the opening segment with Sasha and Carmella, Sasha echoed throughout the building. They're in a bigger space. Those guys, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. They will figure these out. But there's a couple other things that were kind of irking me. You could tell they were in a new building that they didn't know the acoustics on.
Mm-hmm. But visually, it wasn't. They did a good job to make it look pretty close to what we've gotten used to as far as the Thunderdome.
Hey, Sami Zayn, the escape artist, beats Big E by countout. Are we going any further with Sami and Big E, or is this the end of it?
There's got to be more. It looks like Big E will have his title shot, presumably at TLC. Is that already on the bill, or is that kind of?
I'm aware of yet.
Okay.
So, but let's talk about title shots, and let's talk about Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. I absolutely loved the Roman Reigns talking to the camera. Hi, Mrs. Owens. You probably don't know me. I'm Roman Reigns. I'm the head of the table. I put food on your table, my table. I loved him talking to the camera. We haven't had a prick heel like that with Roman yet.
Yeah.
This was a new level.
Absolutely. And still in his soft spoken tone.
Right.
And anytime you bring up family, the wife, the kid, saying, look at daddy, I forget what he said verbatim, but I was like, ooh, it's quite a dig. And it's just great to see how they just keep building Roman's heel character more and more.
It's not it's Roman as well. Roman is really just crushing it right now.
Absolutely. I'm glad that they're giving him this opportunity to show this other side, that he can do, that he can talk, that he can perform and be another character. So I'm liking this build up to their match. It's definitely more on the brutal side, which is appropriate for their TLC match.
Hey, so you said you're from the spirits industry, right?
Yes.
Have you have sommelier friends, I would assume, in the industry? Have they ever been put in the bank statement?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Because if you would be, wouldn't you think you'd pick another career? That poor sommelier got put into the bank statement by Sasha.
Twice, too, in that opening segment. Or, I think so. Well, he definitely got attacked by her.
Yeah.
Beginning of the night and later in the night. But, yeah. Just to watch over the champagne, apparently.
Yeah, and the bottle broken over the back of Sasha. She took a drink. I mean, it was fantastic. Heel Carmella with attitude works for me.
Same, and that outfit, she's killing it.
Yeah, the outfit's smoking. I mean, but we knew that already coming in.
Yeah. Well, I will say about the two of them though, I like this. In the back of my mind, I feel like they're kind of similar in a way. If you just look at the way their mannerisms, they're both like sexy and have an attitude, and I kind of thought like they'd be a rocking tag team. Not the Rockers, excuse me.
Right.
But
I mean, they would be great if she was on Raw and she was on SmackDown, because they were both one was wearing red, one was wearing blue, so
right. But I do like heel Carmella. She's doing a great job just getting under Sasha's skin and kind of getting under ours too. I like her, so I'm just enjoying it more. But if you didn't like Carmella, you really don't like her more now. So
which is her job.
Exactly.
So I mean, that's what we want. Speaking of our job, let's talk about Raw tonight and what's coming up. AJ Styles is going to bring the Nightmare Before TLC to Raw. No idea what that means. Bray Wyatt is set for the Thunderdome field trip. I don't know what that means, but I'm excited to figure it out. Does that mean we're going to have the Firefly Funhouse running through the Thunderdome? Who knows? Sheamus and AJ Styles set for a statement showdown. Lana looking to ride the momentum in her matchup with Nia Jax. She's going one-on-one with Nia Jax tonight. And then the New Day and Jeff Hardy set to take on the Hurt Business. Ooh, maybe Jeff Hardy will get a United States title shot. I mean, I'm just thinking of me and PWR draft points, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean that could happen. They could always add that into the pay-per-view, whether it be a pre-show match.
Probably. Yeah, so what? I'll take it.
Right. But yeah,
tonight looks stacked. It kind of looks stacked. I'm looking forward to see what we got. I hope to be not disappointed, but I'm looking forward to it.
It is a big go-home show, last pay-per-view of the year. The Firefly Funhouse, that I'm really curious how that's going to go. I do feel that with the Tropicana Dome, that this will give us a chance to see more of what's outside of the actual in-ring area. I don't want to compare them to AEW, but kind of way to see what else is, in the stadium. You can have the Funhouse characters just popping out of nowhere, creeping the hell out of Randy Orton. I mean, if Randy Orton got, one up on Bray last week, I feel like Bray or The Fiend should have one up on Randy tonight to lead into the pay-per-view. So. Yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes. Again, maybe they built because the Firefly Funhouse is built in a room somewhere, obviously. But I didn't hate WrestleMania's Firefly Funhouse match with John Cena and the NWO stuff and all that. I actually enjoyed it. It was different. Cena was Cena's still dead and buried from that, isn't he? We haven't seen Cena since.
Yeah. He's still gone somewhere.
And speaking of being gone, I mean, technically, do you think they're talking to him for maybe a WrestleMania program?
I would hope so. We'd like to see a lot of huge returns at WrestleMania. Yeah, but one thing we mentioned this last week, but we definitely have to see another appearance by Alexa Bliss while we're on the topic of returns.
Yeah.
Since she wasn't on last week, she's definitely gonna play a big part tonight, I would think.
I think so too. And again, Alexa Bliss not really wrestling as much, but she's doing amazing character work as the Twisted Bliss, hanging out with the Fiend and with Bray Wyatt. And again, I need to see more of that whatever that Jolly Rancher stuff she's spewing out. That was awesome.
Free by the foot.
Yeah, that was absolutely awesome. So much to the point that it makes Bray Wyatt go, holy. Linda, did you, speaking of Bray Wyatt, did you get a chance yet to listen to the Fiend's new music in your ears and in the background continually hear, yowie wowie?
No, but I'll make sure to put that on my list.
That is fun stuff for me. I mean, I absolutely love it. Do you remember when we were getting the build to the Fiend? Because it was always Bray Wyatt, Bray Wyatt, Bray Wyatt. Then we saw him last with Matt Hardy as a tag team, and they were tag team champions, and then Bray disappeared. And we just got these random Mercy, the Buzzard. We got Sister Abigail, these little puppets, and nobody knew what it was. And then out of nowhere, it was the Firefly Funhouse. I didn't like it at first, but it's really something I look forward to every week.
Same. I mean, at first, you're just like, what is this? Just really ridiculous. And gosh, yeah, at first I was just like, like I grew up watching Mr. Rogers. So I think maybe in the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe I will like this.
Yeah.
And because I do see similarities to some extent, but I do like creepiness as far as like horror movies creepiness.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by creepiness, guys. And ladies, just kidding. But
that doesn't mean send your emails to pwr360.com address to.
But it's definitely grown on me as well. And kind of like, with the New Day, how it started off slow, but
the New Day and the Preacher and the clapping and all that.
Longevity is still going and still very popular. And, once we get live audiences again, say a huge pop for the Funhouse, or if they could do a live Firefly Funhouse segment in ring somehow, that'd be fun too.
That'd be interesting. All right. Well, hey, this is the first one of the week. We're going to make it through this week, and then next week it's Christmas. So we're making our way to TLC this Sunday. For Linda Kay, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning with David Hero. So long, everyone.